Welcome. This is the Event Reveal Refocus podcast presented by WeChat Air. I am back for the Reckless.
I'm Sierra.
And Sierra, that's per usual. And as you can see, the setup is a little different. We want to make sure everybody focuses in on quality time with the significant other. Understand, because that plays a big part in relationships and a big part for mental health. Understand, quality time is key. And we're also got some good topics. We're going to sip and paint, and we have the whole setup here, and we're gonna. I don't know if you guys can see it now, but these are Black history, and just remember, all year Black. February is technically Black History Month. However, we celebrate Black history every day. We are Black history. We live Black history. Also, so let's just discuss the topics. We have what we call consistency, right? What if you're being consistent at the wrong things? So we want to focus on being consistent at the right things. Understand? Not just being consistent, but being consistent doing the right things. And then we're also going to talk about some relationships. Understand? We're going to talk about sex. Yeah. It's so often that people be in relationships and they don't talk about sex. It's beyond me. So to become a better partner, to have the open conversation about sex, the do's, the don'ts, the what I likes, the what I don't like, to have that open line of communication, I believe is important for a relationship. We'll talk about it. So we actually gonna be live doing it. So yeah, we'll be talking and painting. Bear with me.
So whatever you should do on it.
Red, black, and so now, yeah, let's talk about consistency. And how sometimes we don't equate consistency with good or bad. But you can be consistent in doing the wrong things, right? So, like I said, at WeChat here, we don't just want to focus on consistency. We want to focus on the form, right? If you're in the gym and you don't got the form right, but you can consistently doing something, you can hurt yourself in the long run. You can have to redo all those hours, to get your form correct. So we want to do things consistently the right way.
Also, let's not take away from, we want to be consistent in everything that we're doing, a good set routine, but we also want to make sure that while we're being consistent, we want to make sure we're being persistent at the same time. Because it's easy to be consistent doing the same routine every day by not being consistent. But I want to make sure that, all right, so an example. I want to be consistent with studying. It's something that you want to do a lot. It requires studying. It requires doing the work for it. All right, I'm studying. I'm logged in. I'm locked in with what I'm trying to do, and then a problem comes up. Do you give up, or are you going to keep going? And I understand that we all go through trouble. Some of them are overbearing. Some of them may be too late, where we may feel like don't tell me. But that's where persistent come in. And persistent means remaining consistent through those obstacles, through those hard times, through those problems, whatever the case may be. You want to be able to keep pushing forward, keep moving forward, being consistent in your studying, no matter what comes up in the way. Oh, my internet went out. All right, find another way. Oh, my laptop out. Whatever. These are just put me on my problem. But whatever the case may be, let's make sure that we're being consistent. And we're being consistent, let's make sure we're going to keep pushing forward. We're going to strive and do our best expeditiously.
Absolutely, absolutely. Always put your best foot forward. Understand in everything you do because you never know who you're entertaining. You never know who are or who's watching you. Right, putting your best foot forward and make it a loan, make it a look, make it a network. Sad by somebody seeing you strive and put your best foot forward. Never go half stepping doing anything. Even if you don't want to do it, whether it's work, whatever, don't go half stepping because people would look at you and they would say, well, if she's half stepping here or he's half stepping here, I can't use them for this. Because like we get 7-minute windows. So if they're looking at you in a 7-minute window, that's what they got to judge you off of. That's what's going to be. So always put your best foot forward. Always go hard in the paint. Understand? So now let's talk about sex. It's so prevalent. So prevalent that in relationships you have unsatisfied males and unsatisfied females that will partake in intimacy just for the notion of it. Understand? Just because it's a thing to do. But being satisfied is on a back burner. Because the open conversation is not there. That, hey, how do you like to be touched? How do you like to do it? Do you like it rough? Do you like it? These things I feel need to be asked. Because sex isn't just a thing to do. Understand? Sex is a science. Sex is an art. And if you're not an artist, if you're not a scientist at it, I mean, you're just doing it because it's a thing to do. Understand? And we know it's bigger than that.
Let me just speak on behalf of the lady. Women, let me say this. When it comes to sex, women, let's not just be the pleasers and just letting them in. So sometimes in sex, men will go in and get their rocks off and don't even care if the lady got her rocks off. Like, they'll have sex to the point that when they get they rocks off, they good. Like, they didn't check if you got yours off. They actually don't care because they didn't. They're not. You gotta communicate through sex. That's what brings out more intimacy and what's the one? It's sex. Just seduction. That's what makes it more seducing and makes it more makes the woman more submissive. Sorry I can get my words together, but another major thing that plays a role in it, fellas, ladies, let's make sure we're foreplaying in the beginning instead of just trying to get straight to the point. And some people may not be in a foreplay, but I'm just speaking on some that they say. Sometimes just rubbing and being intimate in the beginning instead of just getting straight to the banging or whatever. It kind of.
Okay, so this is the thing. This is the thing. That for a woman to know your body and to really communicate that to your significant other, it's going to be optimal, understand, because you're like, it's just like a manual. But it's when if car break down, you read the manual to see how to fix it. So it's just like you're a manual to your God. You're telling them like, hey, this is how I like to be touched. This is how I like to do it. And you could teach them. You could get them in your mold just for you. Understand? You don't gotta accept what he's learned in the world, but you could actually mold him into doing what you like to be done to optimize the experience.
So more of it is, let's just make sure we're communicating with our partners. We're letting them know what we like and what we don't like, especially if they're like being too rough or not being, not just being gentle with our bodies. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, we want it to be rough, we want it to be aggressive, we want it to be crazy, but don't get too like, this man can get crazy sometimes. But let's not, and females too, something else I heard the person. Now I'm person. Let's make sure we're communicating on what we want and how we want to be touched and how fast we want it to go, how slow we want it to go. Don't sit there and just be letting him do it or letting her do it because you want them to feel good and whatever.
That's the main thing. Don't do it because it's just an act. Like do it, like do it with passion. Understand? It doesn't have to be ramrod all the time. And ramrod is just like imagine if you reading a book, right? And you go right to the ninth chapter in the first. That's not how we read books. You got a rise in action, you got a climax, got a resolution, then you got a climax. So it's like you got a protagonist and antagonist. And all that takes part in intercourse. So, let's just not just get in there and get out. Like I said, it's a thing you not in the whole experience. There's a lot of that going on in relationships. So you got a lot of I mean we'll go there. However, however, yeah, just talk about it. And it's okay. I'm all outside responsible, but
And if they not willing to change and adjust to how you want to be, how you want it to go, find somebody else.
so yeah, so like yeah, so when and hopefully y'all get in the comments with this question I'm about to ask. So when the setting is right, like female, what are you actually looking for when you're what you mean? Yeah, so what are you actually looking for? Understand? Let's I want to know what you're actually looking for and then what you actually receive. Like go through the numbers to what you're actually looking for and then what you actually receive and then see, well, did I communicate this or did I expect it to happen? Because I know a lot of dudes just be what we call cat and it's all a good game to get what they want. But then when they get to that stage, they strike out. So challenge them numbers of guys or just your experience of your expectation versus what you really got. And to see if that matches.
Ladies, stop settling, please, just to please the man. Let's make sure we're pleasing ourselves as well. Let's not just be out here doing whatever men want to do all the time. Let's make sure we're locking in and keeping our rocks too. At the end of the day, if y'all not both, it's not fun. Now, don't get me wrong, because there's some people out here that are pleasers and they really don't care if they do get their rocks off as long as their partner did. Now, that's understandable, but I'm speaking on behalf of like, if that wasn't on agreement terms and the person is going in to get them, that's just basically just fun. Not crazy. The same book. That was he's on. You got hundreds of me now. You don't know something with me.
Right. No time, man. So, so it doesn't happen. Like literally, people be so unsatisfied, but they don't even say, "Ah, my girl."
Yeah, they're just walk off like and have others and they did something for somebody
But it be relationships built off of stuff like that though. Like they in relationships they're not talking about it.
and unless it should be set with this.
And not even like if the experience was bad, but I don't want to hurt my partner feelings. But at the end of the day, I'm going through with the act to save his ego. We gotta, any man that has corrective instruction should adhere to it, especially if he's trying to police a woman. Like, oh my God, that wasn't, I know what you said, but that wasn't a fight with you. That time. Let's go ahead. This is what you need to do.
Don't be being all aggressive and eating like that. Like relax.
And vice versa, understand?
Yeah.
Like, like my mom, I know you said you got that, that thing, but that ain't it, baby. You gotta do something different. And I think that's okay to talk to your spouse because they need to know.
I mean, look at it like this. This is the person you're gonna be sleeping with all the time. Like you're gonna accept that crap all the time. That's what it leads to people cheating and stuff. Why? Because they're not getting at home, so they gotta go seek elsewhere. You just don't bring to speak up. It's okay. Let them know like you're not doing this right. I don't like it.
Right.
Yes.
Now, you don't necessarily but you can. But
I don't like it.
not that. No, just the, no, on a serious note, that you really taste that's communication.
And see, if you're not comfortable with your partner to open up like that, and there's something else going on, and y'all need to sit down and have a actual open talk. Because, but no, that plays a role in it. Like if we are, if I'm not even comfortable to talk to you about how I'm like that type of topic is what else is not comfortable. Like make sure you're building. Let me take away from this, but it's still the same. Make sure you're building that communicating foundation with your partner. And when you're communicating, let's make sure everybody is understanding and comprehending what each other is saying. Let's not shut the other person out. Let's make sure we all on one accord at the end of the day, because how else is the relationship going to work? How is it going to be balanced? It's never going to be balanced if only one person is, or whatever. Or there's never understanding. It's always disagree. We got to make sure we're building that strong, we're being transparent. Let me say that. Let's make sure we're being transparent, we're being very reciprocal, because other than that, it's just not gonna work. That's just not good. And also, if you don't trust your partner, that's a problem as well. It's alarming. And I do personally feel like if you lose trust your partner, then you just need to walk away, because it's kind of hard to gain that trust back from people when someone has hurt you in that type of manner, and I understand that. If you're not going to sit down and express yourself to each other, but you're comfortable to talk about the most uncomfortable topics, then y'all need to sit back and self-reflect, sit back and together reflect, or just let it go. Because it's not going to work.
No,
You should be comfortable with your partner. That should be your best friend.
no, yeah, you should be able to talk about
Whatever.
whatever. But in just really in general, like a lot of conversations that
Needs to be
need to be talked about. So just like, for instance, life insurance. Like a lot of people don't like to talk about dying. right? But to move the next generation forward, it's imperative that we have life insurance. We don't want to leave our siblings or the children because we didn't want to discuss that. We know it's gonna happen. And let's make sure they straight and we go.
And even if it's not that you don't want to discuss stuff, if you just don't want to talk about it, you feel like it's not important or you don't need it or whatever, let me tell you something. Life insurance is very important. And it's for several reasons. And this life insurance is so important for blacks. No offense to any of them. Let me speak more heavily on blacks because we're the ones that tend to do it the most. We don't have life insurance. Mom or dad passed, sister, brother, uncle, whoever. Now we all doing fish fries and selling hot dog plates and all this other crazy crap to come up with funeral costs and an appropriate casket for our loved ones. Now we have to reaching out, we're doing GoFundMe's. Like, let's step away from that. Let's get out of that statistic because that's what it is. Let's move on and get some life insurance where it's gonna pay for all of it, where it's gonna continue to pay out once they're gone. Because look at it like this: we have children. For those who this problem, but to those who have children, like think about it like this: when we don't want our kids to struggle. Nobody wants their kids to struggle, and say we're not promised here. So say to our kids, how we gotta think about how our kids gotta be out here living. Is there gonna be straight when you gone? Is there a position? And with life insurance, when you pass, if they're like baby sharing and stuff or whatever, if you pass, what all that you pay out is gonna go to them. They're gonna be straight, literally forever. They ain't your money. Crazy. I'm just kidding. But nah, like your kids are gonna be taken care of. You will be resting with a peace of mind knowing that I left this behind for my children. My children have this. And also I have insurance policies put in place for when they reach a certain age and it's already paid up for them and they don't have to worry about them. And their kids gonna be straight. And their kids gonna be straight. And whatever. So